Oh, hey, how you doing? Thank you for clicking on this video. I just want to announce that we are doing our Black Friday sale right now over at CarnivoreCompanion.com. This year we're offering the Black Friday bundle, which includes our everything bundle, along with this, nice, insanely sharp knife. And, it's very pretty. It's even got a nice little wood handle. If you don't want to use it, you can always display it. It comes with this nice carrying case as well. And that's not the only thing we are offering this year. We're also giving you 20% off on single bottles. So if you want to stock up, now's the time. But don't forget, if you want one of these super sharp knives, these are limited in quantity, so it's first come, first serve. If you're seeing this video, the sale has already started and it goes on until November 30th at midnight. There are no coupon codes for any of this. Just simply go to the site, add to cart, and check out. All right, class, I need you to comment down below if you know what a Strata is. Oh, that's definitely not enough of you. So, what about a breakfast casserole? Do you know what a breakfast casserole is?
Oh, yes!
There we go, that's much better. So, in today's video, we're going to be making a Strata, aka breakfast casserole, which is really just a layered breakfast custardy type thing. I made some recently for my best friend's baby shower, and that involved normal bread, the custard, and the other toppings, but we are looking for a carnivore version of this. And to start, we need to get our bread portion done. And to start, we're going to take 3 ounces of pork rinds of your choice, add them into your food processor, and if they don't all fit, just pulse them a couple times, just to make some room. And once they're all in there, take 6 eggs, crack them in, and add in 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. And simply blend this on low until it's completely combined. And it should look something like this. Get this out onto a parchment lined or silicone baking mat lined baking sheet and spread it out. You just want a big rectangle because we will be cutting this in half to make 2 layers for our baking dish. And I will be using this weird 8x8 cake pan, and if you want to make this with a 9x13, I recommend doing 2 of these. But what I'm going to do is get a quick measurement and see about how big this needs to be. So it needs to go from edge to edge in this, basically. That is done. It is roughly 2 halves. That's what I want. And like I said, if you want to do this on a 9x13, definitely make 2 of these. But no matter what you do, take this, throw it into an oven at 375 for about 5 to 7 minutes or until it's cooked through. Now we need to go ahead and start making our topping part for this. And we're going to start with the bacon. And all I got to do is chop this up. And I want bigger pieces. I don't really want like super fine pieces for this. I want it to kind of stand out. I want you to have like an actual bite of bacon. Once it's sliced up, go ahead and get it into a pan and start cooking it. And this is 12 ounces of bacon, by the way. I forgot to say that. I will also be using some breakfast sausage. However, you can use whatever kind of meat you would like to. Pick what you want in there. But for today, I'm going with what I made during that baby shower. Let's get past this part and get to the breakfast sausage. I'm going to go with about a ½ pound of some mild. All you gotta do is break it up and make sure it's cooked all the way through. Alright, that is done, and I have been multitasking to get my bacon done at the same time. You can do things like this to either make yourself less flustered, or if you're like a lot of people, way more flustered. But I have a weird brain, so I just, I do this. These are both pretty much done. I'm going to go ahead and move on with the custard, and I will be posting 2 separate recipes for this custard down below. One's for an 8x8 like I'm going to use, and one will be for a 9x13 that you can use if you want to do that. The biggest difference is going to be the volume of custard and the amount of the bread that you need to make. For mine, I will be starting with 3 eggs, 1.5 cups of half and half, about a ½ teaspoon of salt, not even quite an 1/8 of a teaspoon of black pepper, about a 1.5 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce, and then roughly a ½ teaspoon of mustard using Dijon. All you gotta do now is whisk this up. If you want to use a fork, feel free. I know that's pretty par for the course with this channel, but I did find my whisk finally. All right, we can finally move on to assemble this thing. So I've got my 8x8. I'm gonna take some butter and just grease the bottom of it pretty good. Try to hit the corners as well. And once that is greased up, we can lay down our first layer of our bread. 4 slices of some sharp cheddar cheese, about 3/4 of our breakfast sausage, 3/4 of the bacon. Now it's time for the second layer. Let's go ahead and push that in, make sure it is nice and in there. And since I was only left with 1 slice of cheese, I diced it up and I'm just going to sprinkle that on next. Add the last bit of sausage and the bacon. Now we're going to take our custard and just pour it right over. And it should kind of float to the top if you press on it. Since this is not real bread, it's not going to absorb exactly the same way as bread would, obviously. However, what should happen is that when you go to cook this, it will kind of dry out, but it should keep all that creamy and custardy texture. I'm going to throw this into the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 30 minutes or until the custard's set. The way you can check it is either by picking it up and tilting it, and if it hasn't set yet, you'll see a pool of milk and egg pull up right here. Or another way to do this is to put a toothpick in here and check to see if it is still wet with milk. This is still insanely hot. Let's let this rest for about 10 minutes and we will slice into it and see how it is. I had the other one last weekend, so it's still pretty fresh on my mind. I'm going to give this a taste and see how it compares. Looks like the custard soaked in pretty well into our bread, so yeah. So if you're looking for a really good and texturally different and full of flavor breakfast, I think this is the way to go. The bottom layer of the bread has a little bit more chew to it than the top layer. The top layer is custardy, and all the bacon and the sausage and the cheese obviously work well together, but the flavors within the custard also just work very well with everything else in it. So I hope you enjoy it. Let me know if you try it. See you on the next one.